Okay, this is based on a short story that Neil Gaiman did for a hardback book of short stories about Elric. It's called One Life, and I believe the original story was One Life by Malcolm Moorcock. Really good stuff. P. Craig Russell got with him and did it. It's just about a boy going to school in England and how Elric enriches his life, and it's a bit more sinister and on the dark side than you think. And what's sad is that it sounds like it may have really happened. Okay, Vertigo Winter's Edge, Sandman, Featuring Desire, The Invisibles, Mystery Theater, Preacher Interview, House of Secrets at the time. And what do we have here? Okay. Looks like we're getting to the Neil Gaiman stuff. I, of course, am a fan of the Sandman series, much like probably anybody else that's read comics in the last 20 years. So it's nothing new. The Death miniseries. I had these in trades, of course. Time of Your Life. The Sandman Orpheus issue. And the Death Gallery. Artists came in and draw their interpretation of the Death character in the Endless. And Sandman Gallery of Dreams, another lot of interpretations by artists doing their version of Sandman. And looks like I probably had close to a full run of the Sandman. This was a special edition I bought because they recolored it and it's on better paper, of issue number 1. There is issue number 1. Number 2, which is actually as many issues as all the stories they had and all the great things that happened. It's my favorite issue. Has Cain, just blew your mind because it has Cain, Abel, the 3 witches from the Witching Hour, and they ended up playing a huge part in the series. Constantine story, and on and on. Okay, just get these on there. First appearance of Death. Seems like I used to have 2 of those. Now, First Appearance of Death is so that her appearance was so popular that when they did the trades, the first 2 volumes, they put this issue in both of them, 1 through 6, 1 through 8, Preludes and Nocturnes, and then they did the Doll's House and started with this one. Just for trivia, and some issues of the Dollhouse. Wasn't really a big fan of the Dollhouse story, which really got things going. Dream Country was great. Another one of my favorite issues. It's all about cats. The stories they tell, the dreams they have, really great stuff. It'll make you look at your house cat completely different. And of course we had the controversial, award-winning Midsummer's Night Dream tale of Shakespeare and the fairies and his acting troupe and how the Sandman tied into Shakespeare. This won a fantasy award, and as soon as it won, they changed the rules to where comic books could no longer do it. And this is actually, this copy's supposed to be worth more money because they misprinted an editorial with the wrong color or something. Very silly stuff, but I happened to get it, and when I bought it, nobody cared. More Dream Country. Season of the Mist. I really need to go back and see if I have all the issues of this. Pretty much, Sandman starts out getting ready to fight the devil for a woman that the Sandman put in hell 10,000 years ago. Ends up inheriting hell. It's considered one of the, by according to Wizard magazine, one of the greatest comic book stories ever written. Got quite a few of those. Just speeding along. Distant Mirrors, a bunch of short stories, reprinting Fables and Reflections. One of my favorite one out of this set, 3 Septembers and a January, pretty much about a real person who said he was the Emperor of America, and I believe he was in San Francisco, and when he died, thousands of people actually came to see his funeral, and he was respected. Yeah. Oh. More Sandman. What do we got here? Brief Lives. Just a nice solid story. Great Jill Thompson art. She really brought a texture to it. Took me a little while to warm up to it. Yeah. Looks like I might have a full set of those or close to it. Okay. Great Dave McKean covers. Okay, Distant Mirrors, Ramadan. Pete Craig Russell really blew me away in this one. Man is a great storyteller. Okay, looks like it's The World's End. great short stories, and it lets you know that something was going on because everybody got tracked. The Prez issue. Alright, this is issue 54. As you can see, I'm excited about it. And Neil Gaiman, an Englishman, really wrote a great Americana fairy tale in this using Prez. The old 70s character where, you know, an 18-year-old kid, teenager, became president. Well, he really took it, didn't change anything, and set it on its ear. Really great story. Mike Allred of Mad Men did it. And it made me go out and buy the one-shot of Prez when it came out. And I tell you what, it was the 90s, and it was really influenced by Nirvana. That's all I'm saying. Yes, and we go on. This should lead into the kindly ones, the beginning of the end. Great Dave McKean covers. Really works of art. Alright. And we finish out the series. And I actually just have the trades of these, so I don't have to pull these out because most of these books are red ones to put up. Hope there's Sandman fans out there. Great stuff. Here we go. I believe that is the death of the Sandman, and if you read the whole series in close to one setting, you see that this has been one story, and Sandman set up his death from day one. Okay, the wake. He's even set up a replacement. This is the morning of the Sandman and what it means, which of course leads up to where we see his replacement. And The Tempest, the last Shakespeare story. Kind of a very nice book in Charles Vess returns, and it goes all the way back to the award-winning issue I showed you a minute ago. And his brother's keeper. This is an issue of The Dreaming. Number 8. It has a really cool story of Cain and Abel and their brother returning. That of course takes place in The Dreaming, the Kingdom of Dream. Great Mike Zulu art. And it has a few extra pages to go with probably the wake of the series. It's got a few extra pages. Really good stuff. Now we're getting into a personal favorite of mine. Give Me Liberty, Frank Miller, Dave Gibbons. And Give Me Liberty is a great story of pretty much American politics, American healthcare, all done with a little twisted story there. America actually cracks into separate little miniature nations run one by neo-Nazis, run by lesbians, God's country, up in the Pacific Northwest. And it's all done through this character, Martha Washington. Okay. The miniseries, the first 4 issues, of course, are the main series. And the ones I recommend you read. I see these in dollar boxes all the time. And then over the years, they come out with little spin-offs that are written completely different from the first miniseries. More into smaller stories, characterization, doesn't go through the whole life of Martha Washington. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. It goes to war. Happy birthday, Martha Washington. Some weird stuff in here. Martha Washington stranded in space. Martha Washington saves the world. And this is where they lost me. It was time to quit. And of course, they didn't. Martha Washington dies. And I read it, and I don't remember what happens, but I guess she dies. Good stuff. A few little extras here. Another Vertigo Winter's Edge, Mike Allred cover. Little, looks like it's got some Transmetropolitan, some Sandman Mystery Theater in there. Okay. The End, Peter, Dave, and Dale Keown tell the last Hulk story. And I tell you what, it was definitely based on a story of mythology of the story of the boy who stole fire from the gods. I think that's really what really inspired that one. The Punisher kills the Marvel Universe before I even knew who Garth Ennis was. The story, I wanted to be offended, but I loved it at the same time. And that's the first print, not the same one that came out. It was not the second edition that came out a few years ago. And the end, the last Punisher story, the end, the death of the Punisher. And this one, holy cow, really good stuff. Now before I back up, I looked down here when I saw it was in the box and it was there, so I grabbed a few things. This is the Sandman Companion, a chapter by chapter interviews with Neil Gaiman and the people who wrote on the book, and it goes in depth about each chapter of the Sandman, issue by issue almost. Haven't read it in a few years, but it really enriched the stories for me. The Sandman Midnight Theater, this crosses over the Sandman of Neil Gaiman with the Sandman of the 1940s of Justice Society. Interesting story, really. Pulp mystery is what it feels like, conspiracy, secret societies, and they all tie in. It's perfect. And of course, Sandman King of Dreams. I bought this for $1, and basically it's a visual aid giving you covers and characters and pages throughout the whole Sandman book. I don't have anything really marked in here, but if you don't want to invest in Sandman or you're curious, I'll go ahead and plug this book, and there's a little teaser of what happens towards the end. Sandman King of Dreams, found it for $1 for a hardback.